The rain hammered against the observation dome of the last chance diner, blurring the already dismal view of Kepler-186f's muddy plains. Thorne stirred his recycle protein pace, the smell doing little to soothe his frayed nerves. Ramirez watched him, his expression unreadable. "They're still not responding," Thorne muttered, more to himself than to Ramirez. "Standard protocol, Sergeant Major," Ramirez replied, his voice even. "Communications disruption is expected within the Blackwood Forest. Standard protocol didn't account for recon team vanishing without a trace, petty officer, or a signal reading that makes my teeth ache." Thorne pushed the plate away, the metallic 10 doing nothing to ease his discomfort. Command sitting pretty back on ****, issuing orders they're too far removed to understand. Rostova entered the diner, her face grim. Tanaka hurried in behind her, pale and agitated. "Situation report, Ramirez," Rostova said, her voice sharp. "Comms, Blackout remains. Energy signature erratic. Recon team presumed missing." Ramirez's reply was brief, clinical. Rostova nodded, her jaw tight. "Tanaka, what's the status of the Raven ****? "Shovel systems are stable, Captain, but the interference it's unpredictable. Any attempt to penetrate the forest's perimeter could fry the circuits." Tanaka's voice trembled slightly. "We need to find those recon Marines, Captain." "They're out there somewhere," Thorne said, his tone a mixture of frustration and concern. "They're likely lost, Sergeant Major. We're operating on limited data. Blackwood Forest isn't like anything we've encountered. The geological scans are inconsistent. The flora exhibits anomalous growth patterns." Rostova trailed off, a gaze distant. "The Kepler initiative deemed it strategically valuable, despite the risks. A lie, obviously. Command doesn't care about the risk. They only care about the resources," Thorne said, his voice low. "Kepler-186f isn't about colonization. It's about extraction." "We're here to fulfill our duty, Sergeant Major," Rostova said, her voice stern. "Let's not succumb to speculation." Mallory, the xenobiologist, entered, her face etched with a mixture of fascination and apprehension. "Captain, I'm detecting subtle shifts in the ambient energy readings. They're rhythmic, almost communicative." "Communicative? Sergeant Mallory? What are you suggesting?" Rostova asked, her voice skeptical. "I don't know, Captain. It's as if the forest itself is trying to tell us something," Mallory replied, her eyes wide. "The plants there reacting to the energy, responding to it." Thorne felt the chill run down his spine. He started experiencing this feeling. A pull, a resonance. He tried to shake it off, attributing it to exhaustion. "Prepare the ****Raven for atmospheric descent." "Tanaka, you're piloting," Rostova ordered. "Mallory, you're accompanying us." "Sergeant Major Thorne, Ramirez, you're on point. We're entering Blackwood Forest." The ***Raven plunged into the oppressive gloom of the Blackwood Forest. The perpetual twilight was punctuated by the sickly glow of alien fungi and the rustling of unseen things in the undergrowth. Thorne scanned the perimeter, his hand resting on his pulse rifle. Ramirez stood beside him, his expression unchanging. "The readings are intensifying, Sergeant Major," Ramirez said, his voice calm. "Expected," Thorne replied, trying to ignore the unsettling feeling in the pit of his stomach. Suddenly, the comms crackled, a burst of static followed by a distorted voice. "Await, the signal cut out abruptly." Thorne frowned. What was that? "Unknown. Source outside our range," Ramirez replied. The forest seemed to close in, the air thick with an unnatural stillness. Mallory pointed to a cluster of towering trees, their bark shimmering with an iridescent sheen. "Look, the flora is shifting, changing," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. "It's responding to something." A low hum permeated the air, growing in intensity. Thorne felt a strange call, an irresistible urge to move forward. He glanced at Ramirez, but his friend's face remained impassive. "Sergeant Major, I'm detecting a localized anomaly," Ramirez said, his voice slightly strained. "Energy signature highly complex." The ground beneath them began to vibrate. Trees swayed violently, their branches entwining to form a living archway. And then they saw it. A clearing bathed in an eerie green light. In the center stood a single, massive tree, its trunk pulsing with energy, and carved into its bar, in elegant, alien script, were 2 words: "Await, join." Thorne felt a searing pain in his head, followed by a wave of euphoria. He laughed, a strange, unfamiliar sound. He looked at Ramirez, his friend's face now different. His eyes glowed with the same eerie green light. "They've been waiting for us, Ramirez," Thorne said, his voice smooth and melodic. "They want us to join them." He turned towards the tree, his hand outstretched. "It's time to embrace our destiny." He started walking towards the tree. beckoning Ramirez to follow. The two men disappeared into the pulsing green light, leaving behind the stunned silence of the *Raven**S interior. Rostova and Tanaka watched them vanish, their faces etched with horror. The forest seemed to mock them, the air thick with an unspoken threat. The comms remained silent. Only the relentless rain continued its mournful dirge, washing away any trace of the Marines who had just been swallowed by the darkness. What just happened? Tanaka stammered, his voice shaking. Rostova didn't answer. She stared at the spot where Thorne and Ramirez had disappeared, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. "Prepare for immediate ascent, Tanaka," she said, her voice flat. "We're leaving Kepler-186f. She paused, then added, her voice barely a whisper. "We're not welcome here."